Ambrose Small, a millionaire theater playboy, owner of many theaters across Canada until he disappeared on December 2nd, 1919. Tons upon tons of earth were turned, but the question still stands. What happened to Ambrose on that fateful day? On the day that Ambrose disappeared in December 1919, he had quite the unusual day. That was the day that he sold all of his theaters. Ambrose then gave the money to his wife, Teresa Small. She noted the money at the bank safely later that day, but as for Ambrose, nobody knows. Teresa Small became aware that Ambrose was cheating on her when she noticed a locked box in Ambrose's desk. The box contained letters Ambrose exchanged with a woman named Clara Smith, a famous model from Toronto. Through years of fights, Ambrose and Teresa worked out their problems and planned to retire together. This fact leads me to believe that Teresa Small was not responsible for the murder of Ambrose. Yet the mystery still lives. What happened to Ambrose on that fateful day? And until we figure out what happened, the ghost of Ambrose that haunts the Grand Theatre in London will never be put to rest. I'm here at the Grand Theatre, one of the many theaters that Ambrose J. Small owned. This is apparently one of the theaters that he haunts today.
My name is Julie Bell, and I work in public relations at the Grand Theatre.
So when did you start your work at the Grand Theatre in London?
I started working at the Grand 6 years ago.
Is everyone you work with aware of the legend of Ambrose Small?
Actually, there are a few people that work here that are very afraid of the ghost. There are a lot of people that work here after hours, and it's very dark, so they're very aware of the legend.
Has anyone you know encountered the ghost of Ambrose?
We actually had a couple people last week. There were two different people. It was back-to-back days. One woman was working in the dressing room, and she claimed that someone was turning on and off the faucets, the water faucets, so she was pretty scared. And the following day, one of our janitorial staff were down in one of the dressing rooms and saw a man who wasn't there before, and he just appeared and disappeared, so she was pretty scared.
Are people afraid to visit the furnace room where he was supposedly cremated?
The furnace room is actually not in the same state that it was when Ambrose disappeared, but that area of the theater, the back part of the theater, which is the original part, is where people have the most encounters with what they think is Ambrose Small. So it is an area that sees a lot of activity and that a lot of people are very afraid of.
What do you suppose happened to Ambrose on December 2nd, 1919?
I'm not exactly sure what happened to Ambrose. We're actually running a contest right now on our website, trying to get people to come up with some solutions to the mystery. But if I had to guess, I think he took some money and disappeared and was living a nice life somewhere warm.
Has the legend brought publicity to the theater?
We have had a lot of people come to the theater interested in Ambrose. We've had some television shows, a lot of reporters, especially around Halloween because, ghosts and Halloween go together. But yeah, we've had a lot of great publicity around Ambrose.
Are there any people who fear the ghost of Ambrose?
There are a lot of people who fear the ghost. There's also a lot of people who are really interested in seeing him. So a lot of people come in and try to talk to him and, try to summon the ghost. But I don't think there's much to be afraid of.
Why do you think that the apparition of Ambrose would haunt the Grand Theatre that he loved?
I think Ambrose, if he was sticking around, would be because he loved the theater, and he was a very passionate man about theater. So if he is sticking around, I think it's just to watch what's going on and to watch over his theater.
Thank you for taking the time to do this interview. What you just saw was a postage stamp from 1901. The stamp went into circulation from then until 2001. This is an artist's rendition of Ambrose Small, which was donated to the Grand Theatre. Ambrose Small was a millionaire theater magnate who vanished on December 2nd, 1919. Right behind me is the office of Ambrose Small, before it was renovated. He usually likes to appear on the dress rehearsal nights at the Grand Theatre. It is where he is most recently seen. I'm standing in the hall of the dressing room at the Grand Theatre. This is where Ambrose is most commonly seen. The Whigs mistress behind me apparently hears footsteps of Ambrose Small during the day. The truth is out there. We can't just brush it aside, and we must not forget what happened to Ambrose on December 2nd, 1919.